Good day everyone, welcome to another tutorial with Sivams. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, please do well to subscribe, click on the notification bell to always know when we pop up a new video. If you are an old subscriber, thank you for coming back to watch videos again. So today we are going to be learning how to make this braided ruffled head and double-sided braided then ruffles on top of the head of the cap. So that's what we are going to be learning how to make today. So I'm going to be taking us through the measurements and the materials I use for this practical. Okay, welcome back. So for this practical or for this tutorial, I'm using a poly fabric for the base of my cap and the band of my cap, then the satin fabric for the design of my cap. So I'm going to take us through the measurements of the body base first. Now this right here is the base of my cap and it's folded into two through the stretchy parts. So it is folded through the stretchy parts like this, which measures length 15 inches. Length 15 inches by width 13 inches. So the base body of the cap, of the turban cap, measures length 15 inches with 13 inches and it is on fold. So meaning if I open this up, I'm going to be having 26 inches. Then the band of the cap is the second measurement I'll be taking us through, and the band is cut out into two places like this because it's a V-plated band. So for the band of the cap, I have length 12 inches by width 13 inches as well. Length 12 inches by width 13 inches. So make sure the width is also cut along the stretching area of the material. I'm using a poly fabric, which is also known as a soft scuba. So the next measurement I'm going to be taking us through is the design, the satin measurement for the design. So here I have 6 pieces of this. This is length 5 inches. Then I folded the whole length of my fabric into two, which is 30. Satin fabric is always 60 inches, some is 59. So here is it. This is 29 and a half, so meaning it's not up to 60 inches. So I just folded it into two like this, then I slashed it open. So I have this in 6 places, which is 29 and a half by 5 and a half. I'm going to be putting up the measurements in the video so you can always go through with it. So I have this in 6 places, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So now let's get started with the sewing. So coming to the base body of the turban cap, because I don't want it to be just plain at the body, so I'm just going to be making out some lines on it. So I'm going to check the front and the back. So I'm just going to measure 5 inches, or let me measure 4.5 inches. Then I'm going to use my pin to hold it down like this. So I'll take it to my machine and I'll just sew the tip on 0.5. I'll just sew it on 0.5. Then after that I'll come back again and measure another 4.5 inches, which is right here. After the first 4.5 inches, I measured another one. Then I'm also going to pin it down. This is not compulsory actually. It's just so the body of your cap won't be so plain. So I have done that, and I'm going to be taking it to my machine later on. So let's work on the band also. So I'm going to get the front. This is the front of my cap, of the fabric rather, and this is the back of the fabric. So I'm going to fold this back 0.5, then okay, let me start from here so it's not show upside down. I'm going to start 0.5 first, then 1 inch down. Make sure you are doing this along the stretchy part. So I'm going to pin down as well. The pins are very, very important. So I've pinned this down. I'm going to take it to my machine. I'm going to sew a straight stitch right here, and I'll come back to show us the next step. Okay, so I'm back. Welcome back. So I've stitched this right here, which this is the base body. I've used 0.5 to stitch it. I'm just going to keep this aside, and I've also done the band, a side of the band. So this is the 0.5 we kept inside, and the 1 inch which I did last. So I'm going to turn it now to the front of the fabric, and I'm going to pick another one just to cover up. In case you don't know what to pick, or you're wondering what to pick, from this edge right here, you can just come down 3 inches, then lap it and give a space of 0.75 0.5, depending on the one you want to use, depending on how you want the space to be. Now this is the one I've made. The second part I've made, this is 0.5 spaces each, so can you see it is 0.5 spaces each. So I'm going to pin this down right here to show us the back. So this is what the back will look like. So sewing it now, I'm going to sew on this second line. Sewing it now, I'm sewing on this second line right here. So when I'm done with the second line, I would also come back. You can measure 4, you can measure 4.5, 3.5, depends. I'll come back from the second line now. I'm going to measure another 3 inches, then lap it to 5 inch, 0.5 difference. Then I'm going to run a stitch also at the back. So if you notice, as we are sewing the stitches is going to be hiding inside the new pleat. Now this is the first one. These are the stitches hiding inside the new pleat. So this gave me 4 pleats. So I'm going to go ahead to make this. So I'm done making the second one as well. So the next thing is to form our V shape. So you know the V is going to be like this, but it's not advisable for us to just place it like this. We have to do some coverings around these both corners. So just place it like this, making sure you're on the right part, then back facing back like that. Then you measure 2 inches from here, from the edge, right? Not from the folded place now, from the edge. Then you give it a slant like this. So I've slanted it like this. So now I'm going to make my V. So making my V, I'll put this down. Then I'm going to bring the second piece. The edge face here, edge and edge meet each other. edge and edge meet each other. I'm trying to pin this down. Okay, so the edge and edge meet each other, then this also on it like this, then this is coming this way. So I'm going to stitch it like this. After stitching it that way, I'll get my base cap, mark the midpoints, notch the midpoints rather. So this is my midpoint. Okay, so now I've stitched this together and this is my V band. So right now I'm going to place it like this. Now this center, this V center, now don't mind this center, this V center is what you should mind. This V center, make sure it is aligned with the notched part. Just make sure it's aligned. Then you go this way, then you go this way. Please, can you see the way I place it? Let me pin it down so I can show us properly. Okay, so I've pinned it down. So can you see that there are some excesses up here? Do not mind. When you are sewing, just sew straight. You don't need to come here. When you are sewing, just from this place right here, just sew it straight down. And also do not mind that your band is not getting to the end. See, my band are not getting to the end at both sides, so do not mind, it has a purpose for that. So I'm just going to take it to my machine now, give it a straight sewing, then come back to show us. So welcome back. So I've stitched it right here and this is what I'm having. So I'm going to be cutting this right off. So I've cut this off and now my V is, see, my sewing is straight and I have my V right here. I have my spaces right here. So now the next thing is to leave this aside for some time, then move to the braided design. Okay, so welcome back. So now I have made these pieces already. Okay, so what I already did was just to fold the pieces into two, then I stitched it, then I joined it 3 3, then I stuff in fiber. This is an uncut fiber. I stuff it in like this with the head of a stick. I stuffed it in, but I did not let it get to the end. I'll still be cutting out some, but just to be on the safer side, I made it past half of what I need. So I'm going to get my base now. Then I would do this at the edge right here. At the edge right here, I'm going to stitch it together like that. This is facing inside, then this will also face inside. Then I'm not going to bring it all up, just in between the band and in between the base, like half, stitch it, then after which I'm going to close my cap using my head circumference. I'm going to use 10.5 inches to close my cap. Then I'm going to sew. So when you get here, do not tamper with here. I'm sewing like this, then all round. So I'm going to show you to us when I'm done stitching. So welcome back. I'm done stitching it this way. I've stitched my band. So I came out down and I stitched it right to the end. So now I'm going to take my hand needle and I'm going to gather right from after the band. I'm going to gather right from after the band, then I'll follow my stitching right here. You can also weave your edges, the edges of your fabric to get a neat finishing. So I'm just going to do this till I get to the very end. So I'm done with the cap gathering. Here it is. So I'm going to place this on my mannequin head so you see. Now here is my mannequin head. I have my turban leaf which is glued on it already. So I'm just going to be putting on the cap. Now there are two ways to this. You can either braid down your satin fabric before closing up, or which other way you are comfortable with. Okay, so here's my cap fitting on my mannequin head. So I'm going to pick the first three. I'm going to pick the first three strips of the satin fabric and I'm going to braid just like we braid our hair. Braid tightly, then I'm going to measure it. Okay, yeah, so this is it. So let me measure how many inches I braided for record purpose. So I braided about 10 inches. I'm going to make this on a straight line, then use my hand needle to tack it down. Please always measure before you cut off. You might want yours to start from here. You might want yours to start just be in one side. Please always measure. So I'm going to use my hand needle, secure this down just on a straight line. So this is it. So I'm just going to so the steps you did for this side right here now is what you do for the second side. So welcome back. I have made the braids on both sides of the cap and here it is. Now please also note the volume of the fiber you stuff in it will determine the way your braid will come out. If you don't want it this big, you can reduce the volume of the fiber you put in it. Then if you have any remnant fiber after the stitched part, if you have any fiber that is remaining here, you either remove it up or you leave it and use it as part of the ruffles forming as well. So I'll be leaving this because it's not so much, and I'll be removing the one that is so much. Now this one is much, so I'm just going to find, I've cut out the excess there. So the next thing is to tack this to the body of the cap. You hand tack it to the body of the cap, starting from inside like this. Then you pick the cap like this. It's better to untack than to glue. It's not everything in millinery that is advisable to glue. Not everything. So just find your best possible way to tack the cap. So I've tacked the both sides together. Now the next thing is for us to form our ruffles. So I'll just pick it like this. Then just pick it in a scallop way like this. I'll leave that aside first. Now you create it how depending on how high you want it to be. I'm talking about the ruffles now. You let your ruffles be high the way you want it to be. If you just want it to be minimal, you just make a little pleat. So I'm using my needle and thread to secure the pleats, or should I say the ruffles, together. So there are different ways in making your ruffles. If you have a better approach of making the ruffles, you are good to go. Yes. So I'm still going to come back. So while coming back, that is when I'm going to tack it to my cap. So I'm also going to pick the last two here. There's still one left here. I'm also going to pick the last two here, leaving this upper one. Then I'm just going to make something out of it as well. Like this. Just going to make something out of it. So our ruffles is ruffling. You can ruffle yours in your best way. My thread is getting small. So I'm gonna change the thread. Okay, so I'm still making my ruffles. So once again, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, put on your notification bell so you always be the first to know whenever a new video drops. So I'm trying to end it now this way. Welcome back, everyone. So here is the final look of the ruffles. Just ruffle it in a very comfortable way, which you can. Then you can attach a matching a matching flower to it. So I would be using this flowers at the side, and I'll be attaching it to it like this. So I'm going to be using my glue gun, and also you attach this using your glue. You attach this, and you're good to go. So that's the only part you're using your glue on the cap. That's the only part. So these parts that are opened, you can just put in your little flowers at the side like that. So I'll be getting my flowers. You can use any embellishment of your choice. You can use pearls, you can use original satin stones, any embellishment. Just try to cover up wherever you notice a thread showing. Just try to cover up. You can use anything of your choice. Also, come to the back, you can see some opening at the back of my ruffles, and make sure your ruffles is also as nice as the front, and it's also nice at the back, just as the front is. So I'm just doing this, and here now is the final look. I don't want it to be so much. I'll just apply one here, then I'm done with the tutorial. You can put here, but since I'm not using a matching flower, so I don't want to disfigure the beauty. So here is the final look of the ruffled double-sided braided cap. Thank you for watching the tutorial. Give us a thumbs up, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.